crafting your karma. It's a great idea, isn't it? And I'm trying to say here that we do have a say. You do have a say in what happens to you. I mean, you can't control it. Things happen. But when it comes to the consequences of your own actions, well, they're your actions. And that's really mostly what we experience. And that's really what the Buddha's talking about when he uses the word karma, which is just another word for cause and effect. Literally, it means action, but it implies also reaction, and it implies that an action is caused by some earlier event. So that's the way it works. We live in a world of cause and effect. It's extremely complex, but there are some things we can see quite easily. For example, and I used to do this, if I live with lies, if I tell lies, if I go into denial and try and avoid knowing what I actually already know, then I know there are going to be consequences for that. My mental clarity, among others, and a certain crankiness as well that goes along with that. So these are all different effects of different causes, and that's what karma is about. And that's why everything the Buddha taught is about karma. He's all about changing your karma, identifying the bad karma, which leads directly to suffering, identifying the good karma, which leads you to a more peaceful state, and then getting a more subtle understanding of karma in general, because the idea is to step back from all conditioned behavior. So that's a big ask, and it's one of those ideals, that you try and live up to and you never quite get there, but it's worth pursuing. So that's what we're going to be talking about in this workshop. We do worry about this to a certain extent when we're young. I was young when I became a monk. But there's a certain point in life, that midlife point, which can be anywhere between 30 and 60. It depends on you. But there's a point in our lives where we're no longer just looking forward with anticipation to what's coming. We're also realizing that a big chunk of our life is behind us, and that what awaits us is something inevitable that we don't really want to face, and that we've maybe not denied in our youth, but that we've avoided. So now we're confronted with it full face, and that's why some people, about 20% of the population apparently, goes into a crisis mode. But even if you're not, if it's not critical for you, there's still a growing realization that life is short. It's only so much time left. What do we do with it? What are the things that I've always wanted to do? Can I do it now? Well, there are certain advantages to aging. That realization is the main advantage, because it puts you much more completely in touch with reality, right? It's true. So you become less frivolous. Your priorities change. Your priority list gets a lot shorter. And you start taking action, or you have the opportunity to start taking actions, karma, which will benefit you, which will make you feel better as you move into old age and you face all these difficult physical problems that we're all going to face, or that we are already facing. But your mind can give you a great deal of freedom from that. I see that in my wife, Caroline, who's suffered with multiple sclerosis for over 30 years, and she's physically becoming quite limited. And it can be depressing, and it can be very hard to deal with and accept. And she has those emotions because she's only human, but that is not who she is. That doesn't limit her. She has a much bigger life beyond that life of a personal life coach and a wife and a mother, and she's very, very engaged. So her mind is there. So despite her physical limitations, she lives more fully than most people, I think. These are the sorts of things we're going to be talking about in this workshop. So just fill in the form below and join us. It's free. And if you're at all curious about your mind and how it works, this is what we're going to be focused on. If you in any way want to change the way you are, or change the circumstances of your life, then that's really what we're going to be talking about. So come and join us. It's not going to be heavy. It's not going to be academic. It's certainly not going to be, there's not going to be any chanting or any of that stuff. This is a purely secular approach to you and your mind and the power of karma. So I hope to see you there.